Welcome my fellow Sigmarites and minions of the Dark Gods alike. I hope you're all doing well, and today guys we're back with an Empire vs Chaos showdown. It's going to be Franz, the Prince and Emperor, facing off against just the Prince of Slaanesh, aka Prince Sigvald. So it should be quite a bit of fun as far as the Empire build goes, seeing some things I like right out of the gates here with the triple Greatsword in the front line. Again, a lot of Chaos players do not bring elite infantry in this matchup. You'll see Forsaken and Marauders mostly, and Greatswords do have very dominant matchups against both of those units. Unless they go Marauders with great weapons, then of course the Greatswords still do win, but from an effectiveness perspective, it's not always the best. But here in this case, it is going to be triple Greatsword backed up by two Halberds here to help kind of buffer against Chaos Spawn and other monsters, perhaps Dragon Ogres, maybe a wild Chaos Knight pick. In the backfield, we do have two Archers as well as the Silver Bullets. Archers are kind of a cool tech piece against the Chaos Spawn because Spawn Rushes aren't uncommon in this matchup. There's a couple ways to play it. Sometimes you'll see more infantry focused builds using actual Chaos Warriors. Even sometimes you see like a wild Hell Cannon pick. Chaos has a couple dynamic styles of play against the Empire, but here it looks like it is going to be a cheap infantry rush backed up by Spawn, which I think is quite good. In the backfield, we do have Empire Knights as well as the Royal Altdorf Griffites backed up by a Jade Wizard. If you're going to have Franz plus Royal Altdorf Griffites, you better damn well have that glorious Earthblood here on the Jade Wizard. And that is pretty much it for the Sigmarite army. Now, Chaos coming in with a big envelopment is going to be the Marauder Horsemaster. So these are no mere horsemen. These are the Horse Masters. They have epic capes with the mark of Chaos on the back, I think. Yeah, it looks like some sort of a mark of some sort. But yeah, these guys can do pretty well in the skirmishing game. Obviously, the Sons of Sigmar do have some lightly armored targets via the Halberdiers. And if there's like a Wild Plague of Rust, for example, they can even bring down heavily armored targets because their base weapon damage is quite high at 37. Aside from that, let's look at the main battle line. It is going to be Forsaken, backed up by Chaos Marauders. Sigvald, of course, looking to get balls deep in this army here and go in the backfield, probably shut down the Silver Bullets. Burning Head, very good against the Empire. Obviously, you know, they're typically going to have at least Silver Bullets or, you know, some sort of a Halberd core. I guess Halberds are a little bit less common, but yeah, just having that to kill Silver Bullets and Handgunners is like super clutch. And more Horsemen, but these are going to be the Walmart side. So these are the ones that got to go shopping at Target here, and these are the Walmart Horsemen here on the far side. And that appears to be pretty much it. Let's see how this battle goes. Which of these two princes will claim victory in this epic duel? So over here, Horsemasters throwing into the Spearmen. Spearmen, of course, are shielded, which is smart. You always pretty much want to bring shielded Spearmen if you can afford it. Their melee defense is quite formidable. And the Handgunner shooting in here against the Forsaken, getting a little bit of damage, but it looks like they're partially obstructed. They could have gotten another volley in, so a little bit of a miss micro there with the Empire Knights, but it's not really the end of the world. Now, Greatswords charging in. They do take damage on impacts, but you can see the Greatswords with a huge dominant fight. Forsaken are kind of squishy. Do have a relatively low model count at only 60, so they can go down very quickly, and those Greatswords of Sigmar holding like champs. Now, Franz sitting up in the sky, kind of eyeing the battlefield, maybe looking where he wants to engage. Marauders against Greatswords, of course, is going to go well for the Greatswords, but with Spawn piling in, that can actually change the entire dynamic of that battle. And in the meantime, these Horsemasters are being used to go after the Archers here. Granted, they should be coming up and around, and perhaps considering to threaten the backfield, although maybe they're just afraid of the Griffites here. A little bit hard to tell. Burning Head did go down from Chaos while we were looking at the other side of the battlefield. Just killed some Archers. So that, again, most likely should have been used on Silver Bullets, who are a huge game-changing unit, whereas basic Archers are going to do some work, but it's not going to be too bad. Now, big engagement here for the Empire. They do get the Griffites to isolate the Chaos Spawn. With their anti-large, these Griffites should really tear these Spawn apart, especially with Overwatch fire coming in from the Silver Bullets. And Franz has decided to land in the middle, although a little bit overextended here. Sigvald looks like he got a couple nice attacks on the Franz, and how many Greatswords do we have left here? Only 37. Chaos in a pretty good shape on this side, though. They do surround the Empire Knights, completely just zerging this unit, which is going to open the floodgates into the backfield, and also you can see pretty much both flanks for the Empire collapsing at the same time. Over here, the forces of the Dark Gods do break off the Spearmen, they break off the Archers, and now the Griffites, a little bit idle in their attack orders, are going to be getting focused, but man, oh man, that Silver Bullet fire is so nice, and yeah, really good Burning Head here, potentially. But a nice dodge as well. I mean, you got to be really on point to dodge that quick. That, like, Burning Head gives you almost no time whatsoever, so that was a really impressive dodge there by the Sons of Sigmar. You got to be, especially with in the heat of battle like this, there's so much going on. Now, Franz coming over here to try and peel off the Marauder Horsemasters. He might be able to get a terror route and push them off very quickly, which I think is the objective. In the middle, Greatsword still fighting pretty well, but, you know, Prince Sigvald is helping to turn the tide of that battle. He hits like a truck, obviously very durable, pretty much going to take no armor in the process with a big shield bash or cleave there for Slaanesh, as we do get a flanking maneuver coming in from the Marauder Horsemen, I think trying to just trigger the rear charge penalty on the Greatswords. It would appear it's going okay. Balance bar is really even. This is like a razor thin game. I mean, the Empire is obviously stabilizing in some areas, but so too are the Warriors of Chaos, finally breaking the elite infantry core here for the Sigmarites, and Spawn looking to dive onto the Silver Bullets, but the Griffites plus Franz are going to be very tough to deal with. Those guys are going to be bouncing around and really causing a lot of problems. And Regrowth, yeah, Regrowth is really well used here on the Griffites or Franz, because Regrowth also does replenish Vigor, so using it on these big powerful units that really do benefit from having good Vigor is very, very strong. So here, Griffites move in. It looks like these Forsaken going to get hammered pretty good, although Chaos does have some nice fire coming in from the Horsemasters, just kind of whittling down the elite cavalry of the Griffites. I would imagine Winds of Magic for the Empire's okay. Probably have a couple. Oh, you better watch out, man! That Jade Wizard's in trouble. He's going to get claimed for Slaanesh if he's not careful. Looks like he is able to get away and run back there. Sigvald, of course, could have punched him pretty good if he wasn't careful. Balance of power starting to go into the favor of the Sons of Sigmar here in this game, as Franz gets in there and gets a pretty magnificent blow there on Sigvald, and Sigvald returns the favor. Franz, of course, will do pretty good burst damage, but in sustained combat, Sigvald probably will win that fight, so Franz needs to pull back and utilize the cycle charging. Poor Silver Bullets trying to get away. I don't know if the Empire has the tools to really salvage them at this point. These Greatswords are finally broken. The remnants of the halberds up here on the eastern side of the battlefield are also getting broken down, and I think it's time for the Silver Bullets to finally pay the troll toll, although Franz is getting worked on again. Looks like the Forsaken and the Prince have caught him, and you better be careful. 2600 HP. Sigvald, of course, a little bit of damage on him, but Sigvald can heal himself. Franz can't, and Sigvald might as well be unbreakable. His leadership right now is sitting at like 120 or something. Of course, that's with standard die, but that's pretty incredible. Some late quarter Greatswords coming in. Going to be quite good. Burning Head here from the Warriors of Chaos does pepper down those halberdiers, and you can see the Silver Bullets. Really good control of the Silver Bullets. He's been like finding every way to kind of get them away from danger and just barely squeaking away with them this entire game. But the Burning Head does break the halberds, which again does open the floodgates. Now we got Marauders kind of pouring in, and the Royal Altdorf Griffites are, yeah, they're doing a great job. These like sweeping terror routes, man, are such a staple to Franz play. Like having some sort of cavalry left in the late game just to move around, and the Silver Bullets being back online once again, wearing into those Spawn. And killing Spawn is very important. Like you might be able to terror route a lot, but you are not going to terror route Sigvald, and you are not going to get the terror route on the Spawn, obviously, which are unbreakable. So focusing them down, I think, before the final battle is very, very important. So here comes the Royal Altdorf Griffites. Going to be zooming over to try and rescue the archers, but the horsemen do get that nice charge. Might be able to break them, but yeah, the Griffites are pretty cool. I actually have my tabletop Empire army, my favorite unit. I actually have a bunch of, I think I have 9 Demogryphites in total that I use. I obviously use them for Cities of Sigmar, but you know, in terms of their usage, man, they're really fun. I use demis with lances in tabletop though. They're a little bit better in my opinion than the halberds in tabletop. But anyways, a rant for another day. Karl, Franz, and the boys pulling back here, getting away from the morass of chaos. Many troops over here, and these Chaos Marauders now going to be getting hunted down by the Jade Wizard, Radagast the Green, looking like he wanted that fight, but it pulls back here at the last second, as pretty much the Empire is trying to pull back and stabilize what little it has left. Now, Chaos might be able to Zerg these Griffites. It's going to be tough. It depends on the Winds of Magic. Franz, of course, coming in will probably break their leadership instantly with a terror route. 1, a 2, and a 3, and there's the terror route. On time, like clockwork, baby. But those horsemen are going to get broken, and the skirmish cavalry continue to throw in there as the Silver Bullets. I have no idea how these Silver Bullets are still online with all these burning heads and, you know, just the width of the Chaos Army and the mobility. Maybe it needed like a hound or two just to really kind of circumvent the heavy cavalry and get into the cookie jar. But here comes the Chaos Marauders chasing them down. Will the Empire be able to peel this off? It looks like they will. Empire's still ahead on the balance of power, but I feel like that's very deceiving. I feel like it's a really even game. Sigvald is going to be an unholy nightmare to deal with. There's still Spawn and a fair amount of horsemen left. I guess it's because the units that the Empire does have left are all pretty strong, but I feel like this game is a lot closer than it looks. So Franz coming down here. It looks like he does get the route there on the Marauder Horseman, which does lead to the Shatter. And now Franz diving into the epicenter of combat, backing up the remnants of his Greatswords with Stand Your Ground. And Sigvald looks to be going after the Griffites, and he does take out one of the mighty Demogryphs right there, and swings his sword in triumph. A nice Burning Head. That one was partially dodged, but it might be enough to get them close to breaking. They're at 14 leadership, and it looks like, man, these are the bravest Silver Bullets of all time. Let's go ahead and take a look at their kills right now. I can't wait till the end. Yeah, 2,000 value. Pretty sweet. But Sigvald's inexorable, man. He's going. It's not going to be stopped. The unstoppable object here is moving through, and the Griffites are getting worn down. The Empire does have a couple loose archers on the periphery that are helping out quite a bit. Jade Wizard moving in to fight the Marauder Horseman. Looks like he gets the pick. I think the next logical choice would probably be to go after the Chaos Caster here. Kind of the low-hanging fruit. Chaos doesn't really have the mobility to stop Franz at this point. And you want to keep the caster from getting close to Sigvald, because if it gets close to Sigvald, Sigvald can protect it. And now you can see the Empire player does see this, and he's going to be going for that Chaos Sorcerer, and bread shall be buttered once again. Down to 877, negative 14. Nice play there. I think one more attack will do the trick, although it looks like the Terror Route does kick in. And you better hightail out of there, Franz. That Sigvald's coming for you. He does get that flying attack animation, and he is going to land very conveniently right next to Prince Sigvald. So at this point, Franz needs to get out of there. He's at 2,300. It looks like Sigvald did not connect with him. He took a couple shots from the Marauders. And the last of the Greatswords are finally shattered upon the Wall of Chaos. And here we get the basic Empire Archers. Certainly doing quite well. Marauders have turned their back, which means they're not going to be getting the shields. And Franz moving over to save the Lifecaster. Lifecaster, of course, pretty squishy in combat. Oh my god, you guys hear that? Jesus, some like hot rod out there. Happens every time. Every time I turn to record, some just like haggard motorcycle rides by. Classic stuff indeed. With Archers, another Burning Head going down. Burning Head usage has been pretty good this game, but also Empire players have been doing a pretty good job of dodging that. And if we zoom up, man, this has the makings of a very, very epic endgame. It's kind of like watching one of those like, high-level chess games where it's just like a couple pawns and, a king and this endgame, and it's super tense. It kind of feels like the same thing, right? So Franz looking to get on that Chaos Sorcerer. Sigvald just taking those bullets to the face. Sigvald does have a silver shield, so he's pretty okay with that. He is going to be mitigating over 50% of that firepower. Franz really looking to land on that Chaos Sorcerer. Now, the problem for Chaos is that pretty much their entire army can be terror-routed except Sigvald here. So they got to watch out for that. The silver bullets are about out of ammunition as well. It looks like they have one volley left. I don't know, maybe shooting the Chaos Sorcerer is a little bit better, or just getting Sigvald closer to death. I mean, every bit counts against Sigvald, man. He is so tough to break. I wonder if it's like that in tabletop. For any of you guys who play Age of Sigmar, is Sigvald like a linebacker there too, or is he more of like a glass cannon? I feel like Slaanesh in general is usually perceived as a bit of a glass cannon, but it is what it is. Another Burning Head. That one was not dodged, though. Granted, they had just run out of ammunition, but still, it's getting rid of models. There really wasn't much else that this caster could do. I mean, there literally is no other targets for Burning Head except maybe these halberds back here, which were on the move, so getting the Burning Head on the silver bullets, certainly not bad. So Franz pulling back, looks like he's going to be getting back up in the sky as the silver bullets prepare to move into combat. Chaos does have some forces returning, though. Quite significant here. 38 Marauders, as well as 18 Marauder Horsemen. And now the fight is on. These brave silver bullets will leave this world as they enter. True champions of Sigmar. We do have the duel in the distance as well, and Franz gets slapped by Sigvald. He's at 1,700. He's got to pull back right now. You got to kill everything else for sure, and then just surround Sigvald and hope you can kind of wear him down. But Chaos seems to be getting the edge there. After having broke the halberds, we do have the Jade Wizard, who might have an Earthblood in the back pocket, maybe saving up for like a big regrowth or something. These halberds do get rear charged by the spawn. They're at negative 50. And that last Chaos spawn, look at this guy go, 57 HP. He just looks like he's doing like a little bit of a dance right there. He's getting down, man. He's going to the club. Karl Franz pulling away. Looks like he's going after the Chaos Sorcerer. Certainly a smart play. Let's just take him out. Oh, we got halved, man. Franz just like straight up gooned that guy. He like charged him, took him in half, and then pulled straight up back in the sky. Nasty, nasty stuff. So we'll do a little bit of fast forwarding here. Right now, the forces of Sigmar chasing down the Chaos Marauders and Franz up in the sky, looking to get ready for the final fight as well as he pulls back his two units. Both players kind of regrouping their forces. This is going to be it, man. This is going to be it. And here comes the Franz. Foe Seeker, Reikland Runefang, Galmaraz popped. Sigvald kind of taking a lot of damage. Franz, with all of his items popped, is a serious force to be reckoned with. And there was an Earthblood sitting in reserve. So look at this. Chaos falls pretty massively behind here. Franz's buff's really carrying him, but Sigvald is still holding for a moment longer. Negative 132, and that is going to be a game. The Sons of Sigmar. What a great game. What a great game. That was a really fun one. Well played to Consul of Rome and Helios there. An amazing match. Amazing match. Silver Bullet staying alive that long was very impressive. 2,400. Griffite's also great. Yeah, it's like classic Empire play, right? With Franz and the Greatswords and all that sort of good stuff. Archers were a pretty unusual pick, but they actually both seemed to do okay against Spawn and just kind of being an annoying thing to deal with in the later stages of the game. And yeah, I definitely like both builds. This is kind of like somewhat how I used to play this matchup. I myself like to use throwing axes on my skirmishers. Because they do very well against the Empire Heavy Cavalry and Franz and things like that. But this works too. Like if you're expecting Pistoliers and Outriders, this is better. So it really just kind of comes down to what you end up facing, right? Which one is better. But yeah, Forsaken and Marauders usually do the trick. But yeah, man, that was a great game. Very well played to Consul of Rome and Helios. Hope to see these guys in some ECLs, man. That was a great scrap. So hopefully you guys had a good time. We'll see you guys next time. Franz apparently is the Prince and Emperor today. Sigvald's still the Prince. He's still alive. He'll be back. Slaanesh is all, kind of about that anyway. So we'll see you guys next time, and take care.